It is Sunday and it's time for the sermon. Hopefully, you've had a great day so far. I'll tell you, I've had a great weekend. It was fun. It was travel, it was watching a lot of wrestling, and having a good time. That sums it up. So, on Friday, I flew out to New York City, which I love. Love flying out to New York City. I love traveling. If you know anything about me, I love traveling. I'm one of those people that actually enjoys being in an airport, as funny as that sounds. So Friday was fun. It was a travel day and landed in New York. Um, Went into the city, spent some time in the city since the XSW show that I went to go see didn't start until 11 that night. So that gave me some time to walk around the city and have some fun, do a little Christmas shopping, things like that. So perfect Friday. And then on Friday night, of course, if you were watching IWTV, you got to see XSW, Extremely Serious Wrestling, which is one of my favorite things about wrestling right now. And of course, you might not like it at first. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but if excuse me, if you're like me, and if you really have a good time with stand-up comedy, sketch comedy, skits and bits and things like that, and if you like wrestling, then yeah, XSW is something you should check out. So that show was fun. It's always good to go and see what I feel have become friends. Everybody involved with XSW are great people. You can tell they're fans of wrestling, in addition to being some really funny people too. So looking back on the weekend, that was a highlight. Um, Spending the night in New York City and being with good people. Then there was yesterday. Yesterday, I got back home yesterday afternoon and got home in time for Slamilton, which was Black Label Pro's pay per view from Indiana yesterday. Now, that was a damn good show. Uh, I would say it's up on the same level as GCW's Slime Language from a couple of weeks ago. It was that good. Yeah, Black Label Pro really did it. And I think they've got that energy, that same energy as GCW, because they have run shows jointly before, GCW and Black Label Pro. And so I think that that energy that they have matches what GCW has, and that's why you had such a great show with Slamilton yesterday. And Slamilton's card was really stacked. And I think what I like so much about these independent wrestling big shows and pay-per-views are that they are careful to give a lot of consideration to everybody, to every match on the card. Every match in its own way feels special, which you don't get a lot of the time with your bigger money companies, the big money companies. I think they have the names established that they want to look great on these bigger shows. And so everybody else's kind of book is just filler. You don't have that same, oh, this is just a filler match feeling on cards like yesterday at Slamilton or at Slime Language. So that's something, if you're not an indie person, I think that's something that you should kind of want to aspire to as a fan, to look for shows that do have solid cards with all that equal treatment. So yeah, if you haven't really branched yourself out, and there's plenty of people, you see them online all the time that, you know, they have that mindset that, no, it's not WWE, I'm not watching it. No, that's just a bunch of jobbers, you know. You're really limiting yourself if you have that point of view, if that's your perspective. Because not only did your favorite wrestlers come from the indies, all of them did. That's, you know, unless they were picked from the sky or wherever they were picked. You know, some are just chosen. But we're out of those days. It's been a long time since you had people just kind of picked out of a catalog, or somebody was just watching football practice and you just saw a big guy. No, a lot of the wrestlers that you enjoy today, Seth Rollins, everybody, you know, even Bray Wyatt, he's got, you know, a big family background, but yet still he had to come up through the indies, even if it was, you know, the WWE's indies, a version of the indies, they still have to come from somewhere. So to kind of downgrade or downplay the indie scene and just say they're a bunch of jobbers, you're really limiting yourself, because these are literally who's going to be your next NXT stars in another year or so, if that long, maybe within the next 6 months for some of these people. So yeah, you should check out Slamilton, especially if you're not that familiar with the indie scene. I would recommend that show in particular, Slamilton, to anybody that's wondering who's out there on the indies. I always say check out, like Uncharted Territory, of course, Beyond Wrestling, and I always say to check out a GCW show. But with Slamilton, what was so special was the length of the show. That was a long show. It started, I believe it was like 4:30 Central Time. Ended up ending a little after 8:30, a little bit before 9 o'clock that night. So a long show, but honestly, it did not feel like a long show. Like after shows like WrestleMania, you're feeling it. You're tired. You're just kind of worn out or burned out. I didn't feel that way with Slamilton. I even went back to rewatch it this morning. Just parts of it that I really enjoyed were that, rewatchable. So you have that factor in it too. So yeah, definitely check that out on IWTV. Worth your money, worth your time. Other things going on. I have not had a chance to watch all of SmackDown yet. Since, of course, I was in New York on Friday. I just missed it. And I forgot to set my DVR. So I don't know if that speaks to how important SmackDown is to me now, to where I'm just it's slipping my mind to even put it on DVR. But thankfully, of course, we live in the day and age of YouTube, of going back and watching it online. And so I did watch bits and pieces. And to be honest, I don't know if I really missed all that much. We have the same build-up we've been having for Survivor Series coming up. Got the NXT invasion going on, which was cool, at first. But now it just kind of seems like, okay, yeah, they're going to show up this week, going to attack, going to run away. I think it's time to kind of move on to something new there. Other things going on in the wrestling world. Now, on social media, you have the ACH, or Jordan Miles, whichever you want to call him, that situation that actually started earlier in the week. I believe it was Wednesday, where he made the announcement that he was quitting WWE. And I felt like, that's well within his right. If he does not feel comfortable there, why work there? Even if you feel uncomfortable in any kind of job, whether you're working in an office, whether you're working on a construction site, if you don't feel safe, if you don't feel comfortable, if you don't feel like the people that are there to help you become a better employee aren't in your best interest, then it's time to go. That goes for any kind of situation. So I think this guy's doing what he feels he has to do. I really don't like that it has to be under the circumstances, because it is messy. When that first came out a couple of weeks ago about the whole, undercurrent of racism and how blatant it was for him, his experience there, that's messy. And a lot of people don't like that out in the open, of course, because a lot of people don't like mess out in the open like that. They like things to be pleasant. They like things to be clean. They forget that there's dirt out there, and there's dirty people. There always will be. And sometimes you just cannot sweep that under the rug, because it just festers. And so when you have somebody like that that's willing to call out the company and willing to throw their job away because it's not a good fit, those are the people that I think we should listen to. And you might say that, oh, well, he's just having a mental breakdown. Or maybe he's having a moment of mental clarity. Unless you're a doctor, unless you are a licensed therapist, unless you have that kind of credential, we can't really tell. We have not really sat down, and we've not had a sit-down interview yet with this guy, with ACH, with Jordan Miles, to get to the details of everything. So it's not really in our place to say, oh, he's just having a mental breakdown, or he's just in a bad place right now. Well, maybe he is in a bad place, and it's just time for him to get himself out of it, and that's what he's doing with this. So good on him. Good for him for doing that. And then you have, I guess we'll call him Biff Busick now. I never liked the name Oni Lorcan. I just thought it was just one of those obviously NXT names. But Biff Busick has apparently requested his release. And lately it seems like he's been just quiet. I think that his social media was cleared out too. And really we were seeing him, I think, on 205 Live lately mostly. So I can understand that. I think he felt like at this point maybe he deserved to be in a better spot. I don't know. I'm not him, so I can't tell exactly what he wanted. But if he's going and requesting his release, then clearly he's wanting something more than what he's currently got. It remains to be seen that if he will get a release. But it's sad, it's kind of downhearted, a downhearted feeling to know that these people who are making it, we consider it making it in WWE. If you sign that contract, if you get onto NXT, or if you make it onto 205 Live, or if you even make it up to the main roster, whether it's Raw or SmackDown, that's considered to be the peak of the wrestling business. But yet you see names here and there pop up that don't want to be a part of it anymore. And it kind of makes you wonder, is it all that great? We say it is, but how many people actually know 100% what's going on once you make it to that level? And clearly from what we've heard in the past from people who've been through the WWE, through that system, people who are either no longer wrestling now, or maybe they're with AEW, or they're on the indies. Yeah, we hear that sometimes behind the scenes it's not all that it's cracked up to be, so to speak. So when you have cases like this, whether it's something really controversial, such as racism, or whether it's just somebody that wants a better place or feels like they're spinning their wheels, I don't think we should write these people off as just disgruntled or taking their ball and going home is one of the more popular expressions. No, I think these people need to be listened to. And I think their situations need to be looked at. I don't think they should just be referred to as, oh, they were just jobbers anyway. They weren't doing anything. Oh, they had no charisma. I think a lot of apologists for WWE they'll jump to that. Oh, well, they didn't have anything going for them anyway. That's not true for a lot of them, because a lot of them will go back to the indies, develop this whole new character, this whole new persona that gets over, that makes money, and then suddenly WWE is calling them back 2 or 3 years later. Oh, okay, so now I guess they found that charisma that you didn't think they had. No, they had it the whole time. WWE is just not going to utilize every single person because they have such a bloated roster. They have a talent pool that's so full right now that there's no way that everybody's going to get the recognition that they deserve. And yet they're all still working hard and busting their ass for it. So it kind of makes you wonder how fair that is. Yeah. Well, it all remains to be seen how it works out. And I think the goal right now is just to end the year out and get to WrestleMania in Tampa next year, where it seems like life kind of starts anew for wrestling. But of course, by then I'll be ready for the collective. I don't know if I'll be doing any WrestleMania events in Tampa at all. That's all been done before as well. But it'll be good. It'll be good to get to Tampa and especially see what the independents are going to be doing while the big events going on down the road. So, looking forward to the week ahead. We've got Raw tomorrow. We've got a week full of wrestling. NWA Power on Tuesday. Having to go back and watch AEW Dark. Doesn't look like that's going to be a Tuesday thing to live tweet anymore, but I do go back and watch the older episodes on YouTube now. And then, of course, later on in the week, we've got Uncharted Territory. So, yeah, we've got a full week ahead of us. Looking forward to enjoying it. Send me any comments that you have or any questions. Be happy to answer. Hope y'all are enjoying the show. I've gotten some good feedback on these little podcasts that I've been doing. So I'm glad people are out there enjoying it. Glad you're listening. I appreciate you, and I will talk to you soon.